And for our final presentation, we have the Finance Secretary, Finance Secretary Purisima.
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to recognize Governor Tatanco and his team for the wonderful job they've done the past 5 years, navigating the country's financial system through a very difficult environment. And they've been and they've created a solid foundation upon which we can really build upon. I'd like to recognize my colleagues in the cabinet. It's been a joy working with them. The teamwork has been amazing. The economic team of President Aquino really is not just the few economic ministries, but it's really the whole cabinet, including the infrastructure team that's present today. Secretaries of Energy, Tourism, and DPWH, I think, are here. The opportunities for the country really is there. It's really up to us to take advantage of it. The past few years, our economy has been driven by OFW remittances. This year, it's going to amount to in excess of $19 billion. The BPO sector will contribute over $10 billion, and Secretary Domingo estimates that it will continue to grow at a 20% annual clip over the next few years. Then when you look at the electronics industry, it grew 40% over the first 6 months of the year, and in fact is now a globally competitive industry given that it is fully integrated with ASEAN. It's one of the industries right now that has led in the effort to integrate ASEAN into one business community. So we have 3 strong legs already to stand on. Imagine if we can build other legs, such as what Secretary Lim is trying to build in tourism. We have more than half of what it takes already in tourism, the God-given natural endowments, and our location next to what is going to be the largest tourist market in the world, North Asia. All we need to do is get our acts together. Infrastructure, the right policies, and good governance. There is no other path to achieve the potential of our country other than through better governance. President Aquino is committed to doing that. His slogan of "Kung walang korap, walang mahirap" is not just a slogan, it's the way that we're going to do things. The fight against corruption will be pursued until we are able to change the way things are done in the country. At the DOF, that is also our primary focus, to make sure that we improve tax collection and reduce smuggling, to make sure that the GOCCs and the GFIs are better managed, and to make sure that we create a sustainable financial consolidation of our deficit so that we can add on to the work that Governor Tatanco has done the past 5 years. Our goal is to reduce the deficit to 2% by 2013, to make sure that we extend and better manage our liabilities, reduce our vulnerabilities to foreign exchange fluctuations and ensure better health for GOCCs and GFIs. If you notice, in the early 90s, during the time of President Ramos, our country hit a revenue effort in '94 for 1 year of 19.1%. There is no reason we cannot do that again. In fact, on another year, the tax effort was at 17%. And that time, they did not even have the VAT law. Right now, there's so much room for improvement. That's why we are confident that we will be able to go and reduce our deficit to 2% without new tax laws. But we will need your help. If we achieve this, if we attain our goal of reducing our deficit to 2% of GDP within 2013 and maintain that for the rest of the term of President Aquino, the debt to GDP will go down so long as we continue to grow and so long as the foreign exchange rate is stable. And I am sure that Governor Tatanco will make sure that that will happen. In fact, if we use OECD definition of debt to GDP, our number should not be at 56% today. Our number should at least be 10% lower and up to possibly 20% lower. In OECD, they actually deduct from their debt the holdings of their other government entities of their debt. In our case, our social security system hold a lot of government debt, and our local government units hold a lot of cash. So if you net that off, our real debt to GDP is actually 50%. We're in the process of shifting towards the OECD definition to make sure that our numbers are more comparable than with our peers abroad. How are we going to make sure that we improve our tax and revenue effort? The challenge, just like in your business, is execution. We estimate that at least 250 billion pesos is lost because of tax evasion. This fight against tax evasion will not be a single event. It will be a journey. There will be ups and downs. But the key is for us to sustain our effort so that we can create tipping points and make believers out of skeptics so that they will realize that it will no longer be business as usual. I'm proud to announce that a case I filed in 2005 during my first stint as Secretary of Finance was finally decided upon by the Court of Tax Appeals last week, and they've convicted a company called Forever Living Products and its owner, Mr. Benjamin Quintanar, for tax evasion, and sentenced him to up to 2 years in jail. We'd like to see the day that he actually enters the jail so that we can convince you that it's not worth taking the risk to evade paying taxes. When you look at the statistics, in particular, personal income taxation, 82% of the 136 billion that we collected in 2009 came from fixed income earners, and only 17% from those who are self-employed. And based on our estimate, there are about 1.4 million self-employed individuals who are registered with the BIR. Imagine if we can scare them enough to increase their tax payment by 100,000 pesos. That's a small amount. But in total, if you go and do the math, that's 140 billion pesos. And that's why the potential is there. On the Bureau of Customs, the fight is actually easier because you're dealing with physical goods. In fact, for July, customs collection, cash collection, excluding TEF, which is outside their control, hit a 23-month high, despite the fact that the volume decreased. So we're going to pursue this fight. We're going to use everything at our disposal. We're going to use externally available information. We have a project that's being funded by the USAID and MCC that will allow us to correlate externally available information to determine how much a company should pay, how much individuals should pay, and ultimately put this together so that we can help the Bureau of Customs and the BIR set better targets and drive performance. We're also going to convince everyone to make the income tax return at the center of most transactions. My colleagues in